I am quickly recapping the different crystal systems: cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, rhombohedral, hexagonal, monoclinic, triclinic, and then just a review of all of them again so that you can read through them, right? Basic geometry, not really crystal structure. Crystal structure that just comes because on the corners or on the faces or in the center there are atoms of a metal. Now the principal metallic structures, principal, main, you see, we sometimes go to small English language things. This is principal. If I have PLE, principle, then that is the principle of something. What is the basic understanding of something? This is principal. Principal means more fundamental. So what are the main metallic crystal structures? This sentence should be a huge wave of joy amongst all of you. 90% of metals have either body-centered or body-centered cubic, face-centered cubic, or hexagonal close-packed crystal structure. So out of all of the 27 types that we needed to study, if we study only three, BCC, FCC, and HCP, then we can cover more than 90% of metals that are used in engineering and so on. So this is brilliant, right? This is brilliant for us, good news. And this good news will continue during the whole course. Now we will not go to ortho, rhombo, this, that, nothing. We will just study BCC, FCC and HCP in the whole course, right? So this is big, important favor for us by nature, okay? Now, what I am saying is highly notable. You should note it. Extremely small size of unit cells. Everything you see, this unit you understand. This is nanometer, 10 raised to minus 9 meter. So less than a nanometer, the length of the sides, isn't it? So the size, that is why it is highly microscopic. Unless you have a microscope of a very high magnification, you cannot look at less than 1 nanometer. So therefore you cannot have any idea of the crystal structure and size and so on unless you have a microscope of a very high resolution. And all of these unit cells are nanometer in size. Therefore, if you take even 1 millimeter, just imagine 1 millimeter, how small length of iron, it will have 3.5 million unit cells. 3.5 million unit cells even in 1 millimeter. Okay. Now, a basic principle, very, very fundamental, that in all of the crystal structure theory, anywhere in the world, all the atoms are assumed to be solid, hard spheres. We are assuming that inside the atom there is no vacant space. This is totally against the reality. Do you remember your basic atomic structure? There is the nucleus in which the protons and neutrons are jam-packed. Then there are huge empty spaces, and then there is K shell and L shell and so on, and electrons are rotating. It is like the solar system, that at the center of the solar system there is the sun. Then there are huge spaces, and then one planet and the second planet and the third planet are on orbits. So inside the atom, in reality, the center, the nucleus is very closely packed, all neutrons and protons. So we can say that nucleus is one solid sphere, but then the rest of the things are very hollow, lots of empty spaces, and then there are electrons. But to do the geometry and the math, we are assuming each atom to be one sphere, one solid sphere. So this is an assumption, and we will see whether this will work or not, right? Interatomic distance from one atom to the other atom, we will see later on, can be determined by a technique called X-ray diffraction, XRD. We will see it later on. The radius of metal atoms is assumed to be half the interatomic distance. This is the other big assumption. This means, what you are saying? Radius is assumed to be half interatomic distance. The distance from one atom to the other is what? From the center of one atom to the center of the other atom is the interatomic distance. Okay, and so on. But okay, and this means when we are saying that the radius is half the interatomic distance, then we are now assuming that each atom is touching the other atom. Each atom is exactly touching the other atom. There is no space between atoms. In the geometry that we just showed you, right, there is a cube and all corners there are atoms. So we showed gaps, but we have to redraw that cube so that the top and the bottom one are touching each other, the left and the right one are touching each other. Do you understand? That the assumption number 2, which forms the major basis of all crystal theory, is that all atoms are touching each other in the unit cell. So 2 basic fundamental principles. All atoms are assumed to be hard solid spheres, and all atoms are supposed to be touching each other with no gap between them. These 2 are the basic fundamentals, because without them you could not solve them geometrically. We will see later on. Now in science, all science goes like this, that you have a real situation, but the real situation, if you assume that there are some gaps between the atoms, then you cannot calculate any volumes. If you assume that all atoms are touching each other, then you can calculate the volume based on some geometry and so on. So you make an assumption. You make an assumption to simplify the mathematical formulation of your problem. Once you have done that and you have got the equations and the results and so on, then you go to experiment and see if what you assumed, and based on that assumption there was some equations. Those equations, do they give you the same result as you actually experimentally find? If yes, then your assumptions were right. If not, then you go back and change your assumptions. That is how all science goes. All modeling in all science, physics, chemistry, whatever. This is it, that you take a real world situation, you try to make a mathematical model, you see that there are difficulties, you make some assumptions, but of course they are very scientifically thought out. It is not that assume anything. Assume after a lot of scientific reasonings. Based on these assumptions, produce your equations and so on. From your equations, you will get some results. Do some experiments on these results. If the experimental results and the equation based theoretical results match very closely, then your assumptions were right. So this is how it goes. So here now we are still showing you the unrealistic one, just to show you the shape. This is body centered cubic, exact cube. All three, these 2 are exact cubes, all sides same, all angles 90 degrees. There is one extra atom in the middle of the body, so it is body centered cubic. There is one extra atom on each face, so it is face centered cubic. Hexagonal, simple hexagonal, will have 6 on the bottom, 6 on the top. This one is also there. This one is also there. So that will be simple hexagonal. Then on the top face and the bottom face there are extras, and in the middle of the body there are 3 extras. So if hexagonal is not simple hexagonal, then you call it hexagonal close packed. It is more closely packed than a simple hexagon. There are some extra atoms. So these are the 3 fundamental crystal structures which more than 90% of the metals in the world follow. Therefore, for all normal engineering, design, manufacturing, whatever, if you study these 3 crystal structures, then we are good. So this is hugely good news. Otherwise, if we had to go to the 27, then things will be more tough. So now we will do what you should assume, that these are the 3. In them, body centered cubic is the simplest. because simple cubic is just there to understand, but there is no real metal which is simple cubic generally. One extra atom is added in the center of the cube, it is body centered cubic. So it is only with one extra. Face centered will be with 6 extra. So body centered cubic is the simplest one. And we will discuss something called the coordination number. Coordination number means that if you take any atom in the lattice, not in one unit cell, in the lattice, where there are hundreds and thousands and millions of unit cells, if you take any atom, then it is touching how many other atoms? Any one atom is touching how many other atoms? It is called coordination number. And some of the more famous metals, chromium, iron, sodium, very famous metals, their size, this is called the lattice constant. This size A, the size of the cube in a cubic system. So 0.289 nanometer, 0.287 nanometer, 0.429 nanometer. If you see these two, they are almost the same size. Almost the same. This is 1 nanometer and this is 1,000th of a nanometer. So there is a difference only at, so chromium and iron are almost the same lattice size, and sodium is bigger. Sodium is bigger, about 200% of that. So here we are showing you schematic diagrams. I keep on telling you, if there is an actual diagram with the actual sizes and radii and lengths and so on, then this is an actual one. And if we are showing you a diagram where we want to make you understand, but sizes are not important, then it is schematic. So to start with, this is how we understand a body centered cubic, BCC, body centered cubic, BCC, right? There is a cube, top and bottom, all 4 corners are occupied, right? So there are 8 and 1 in the center. But then we go to the basic second assumption that all atoms are touching each other. All atoms are touching each other. So suppose that in the beginning this is not there, the body centered is not there. So this atom will be until half here, do you understand? And this atom will be until half here, so that the top and the bottom will be touching. Similarly, this atom will be until half here and this atom will be until half here, so they will be touching each other. Do you understand? So if I remove this center one, then in a simple cubic, all 8 will be touching each other. So that is where you start thinking. But now we have forced one atom in the middle. Okay, so we had all 4 at the top, all 4 at the bottom. This is touching that one, this is touching this one, this is touching this one, they are all touching. But now we are forcing this one, this dashed one in the middle. So it is larger than the space left. After they all touch each other, there is some small space left in the middle. But when we force one atom in the middle, then it pushes all of them out a little. It pushes all of them out. So now we are showing them almost touching, right? Almost touching. But the top and the bottom cannot touch anymore. Of course, this corner and this one touches. This corner and the middle one touches. So the center one touches all of them. So how many does the center one touch? 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom. So one atom touches 8 other atoms. So the coordination number is 8. We can see it here in one unit cell, but if I take this as the middle, then there are hundreds of unit cells around it, top, bottom, left, so there we can decide it, right? And if you see here, we are now trying, because this atom at the corner, the center is at the corner, but some portion of the atom is outside to the right, outside to the left. So all corner atoms are outside. So if we section it exactly, if we make it an exact cube, if we section it completely, then this is how the atoms will look like. The central atom in body centered, that is whole atom, but all other corner atoms are cut by each face. So this is how it actually looks.